Welcome to Bullet Recap. Today we'll be going over a horror mystery movie titled The Watchers. This movie might have changed the color of my undies a bit, but without further ado, enjoy the recap. The movie kicks off with a woman telling us about a forest in west of Ireland, one that does not appear on any map and that draws lost souls. In this forest, a man runs for dear life, yet he will share the same fate as all those that enter. It is impossible to escape. Passing the point of no return of 108, the man continues sprinting and believing with every fiber of his soul that he is going to escape by following the light. But let's just say that he somehow returns to the exact point of no return he was at before. Quickly realizing he's been running for multiple hours and is completely thousands of birds go flying above him, causing him to become paranoid and attempt to climb a tree. However, the man is clearly not an athlete and goes tumbling down to break some bones in his body. Still crawling across the ground, he manages to grab his knife and just waits. Within seconds, he is grabbed and taken away only for his screams to be heard. Moving into a less intense scene elsewhere in Ireland at an animal shop, a young woman named Mina just mopes around, sketching some artwork in her book. Having a break from work, she is told the animals hate the smoke and is brought inside by her boss, who shows her a beautiful breed of a bird. He explains there is a zoo near Belfast that wants him within the week and is about a day's journey through the countryside. Agreeing to take the bird, she first takes him home and begins talking to it.
My mom died 15 years ago today. I'm going out tonight. Try not to die.
I'm going out. Try not to die.
I thought you couldn't talk, you little shit.
Once night hits, our girl puts on a wig and heads out to a pub. There, an Irish lad wants to know why an American is sitting by herself. Introducing herself as Caroline, a ballerina dancer, the scene cuts to the following morning where Mina prepares for her journey. Taking off, she starts by going through the gorgeous landscape. Speaking with the bird while driving, she ends up needing to fill up some gas when she opens her voicemail to a woman named Lucy, telling Mina off for not going to their mother's memorial.
Listen, Means, I know you hate it when I lecture you, but at some point you just have to let it all go.
Starting her journey again, I think we know exactly where she is headed, needing to travel for another 106 kilometers to her destination. She thinks about the voicemail her sister left her and gradually ends up in the forest from earlier. Kicking back and driving without worry, her phone begins bugging out as well as her radio. Her car then follows suit and suddenly dies. Looking around the demonic forest, Mina spots a sign signaling the point of no return number 12. Having a quick look at her engine and realizing she's completely she is forced to walk around and look for help.
Hello? My car broke down. I need some help. Hello? Hello?
After deciding it's not too smart to keep walking, she goes to return to her car, but for some reason cannot find it. As if the car has just disappeared from sight, Mina sits down just as the sun is about to set, thinking she is going to die. I completely agree with her. The ground suddenly begins violently shaking and it stops just as quickly. However, Mina spots someone else in the forest and chases after them. Seeing an elder woman, both of them go running from each other. The old woman stops and opens a door to tell Mina she has 5 seconds to live. Mina rushes inside the small house and the woman bolts the door locked behind her. There, Mina is told she has made her way to the coop, and the three people there introduce themselves as Madeline, Sierra, and Daniel.
We're just like you. Lost. I don't mean to scare you, but it's not wise to keep them waiting.
With all four people standing up and facing one way, Madeline says the Watchers are coming, but they will survive the night. All they have to do is just let the Watchers take a look at them, with Mina being told the Watchers cannot enter and will just look through the window on the other side. They come every night from sunset to sunrise. Looking at the one-way mirror, Mina is told to take a step forward. There, the Watchers look and a massive applause is heard from behind. A welcoming to the show, the applause echoes throughout the whole forest. After a few hours, it is finally time for the prisoners to get up. Mina immediately up and leaves, wanting to go home even though she is told it's impossible. Walking alone, she begins to hear demonic voices and sees a child in the distance. Looking closely, she runs after her only to appear atop one of the mountains. Realizing just how big the forest is, she gets pretty upset until Madeline appears from behind and says she is not the first to try. Explaining the forest is known to cause hallucinations. They are prey in these woods. Explaining the landmarks positioned all across the forest in a perfect circle, each is a half-day's journey from the coop. If someone chooses to step over the line, they will not be able to return to the coop by nightfall. Back at the coop, Daniel talks to the Watchers and puts on a show. With Kiera putting on a dance for the pervs behind the window, they continue to watch. Being told to be themselves, Mina reverts back to being a bum and just looks at some TV shows until she realizes the CD was owned by a professor. The next day, the group splits up to get their needed resources such as medicine and whatnot. Ciara mentions her husband John set out to escape the forest 6 days ago and hasn't returned yet. Upon approaching a burrow, Kiera says they shouldn't go too close to them as there is a system of tunnels underground connecting all of the burrows. With the Watchers hiding beneath during the sunlight, the group regroups with each other and explain the rules of the forest to Mina.
Always stay in the light. Do not turn your back to the mirror. Do not go near the burrows. Do not open the door after dark. The Watchers allow us to live as we follow their rules.
That night, Mina watches the television while the Watchers stay outside, making their weird demonic noises to themselves. Mina walks up to the window and decides to gently tap it. Not getting a response, she stupidly breaks a rule and turns her back to the Watchers. They immediately start shouting and banging, causing Mina to just stare and wait in disbelief. The next day, Daniel explains to Mina that Madeline has been here longer than anyone, just as Mina sees the child from earlier running. Staring directly at her, she just moves along and asks Daniel if he's seen a Watcher. Daniel says no one can see a Watcher and survive, something Madeline told him. With Mina not believing it for a second, she stupidly wants to see one by going down a burrow. Eventually, Daniel's curiosity agrees to help, and so he ropes Mina down the hole. Going quite deep, she ends up in one scary-ass place. Making some light for herself, she looks around to find a newspaper from 1992. She keeps looking and discovers a camera, bunny rabbit, and a bike. Pulling the items out of the hole, Mina's presence is finally noticed by the Watchers. Calling Daniel to get her out, the Watcher then brings its six-fingered hand into the light, causing Daniel to throw the rope down. Back with the group, Mina lies about the items and says it was discovered under a rock. Madeline knows that Mina saw something that scared her, but she lies once again. Daniel, in the meantime, plays around with the TV and sets up a surveillance system to finally see the Watchers at night. However, their plan doesn't work as expected, and a man begins banging on the door. Madeline knows that Mina must have broken the rules and believes the man outside to be a trick. Kiera gets up and thinks it's her husband John at the door. Hearing his voice, Madeline nonetheless refuses to open it, making sure the rules are adhered to. Madeline still believes it's a trick from the Watchers. She quickly asks for Mina's confession, and once she admits she did go down a burrow to find the items earlier, Madeline is petrified. She tells Kiara to ask John only something he would know. Asking what book she is currently reading, John says he doesn't know no matter the clues he is given. Being told to show his face to the camera, he does exactly that but is snatched away. However, the group sees a Watcher in the distance when it suddenly breaks the camera and starts smashing the coop. Trying to break the glass and make their way in, they cause a small break in the glass and stop. The next day, Madeline tosses the items back in the burrow and promises to find another way out of the forest before lecturing Mina on her stupidity. With the Watchers reclaiming their possessions, the scene cuts to one of Mina's childhood memories where her sister Lucy and herself go on a quick drive with their mother. Mina annoys the shit out of her mother, causing her to get distracted and crash into another vehicle. Skipping months later to wintertime, Mina realizes that with less daytime, it was impossible to escape. With everyone starting to get on each other's nerves, things aren't looking too good for the group. Drawing markings of the forest all over the ground, Mina sees Kiera is gone. Deciding enough is enough, Kiera blames herself for not opening the door for her husband that night. Hearing screams elsewhere in the forest, the two run and see that Daniel has tied up Madeline and wants to play by his own rules now and runs off. Kiera chases him, and as the two run to the coop, Daniel locks Mina and Madeline out. With the sun going down, the two outside need an alternate plan and hide in a tree. With Daniel and Sierra standing next to the window awaiting the Watchers, Mina gets to see one of them up close up for the first time. Her and Madeline remain quiet and watch the beast transform into a demonic monster, which is joined by the fellow Watchers who all rise. Staring at the window, the two inside announce the others are not inside. The Watchers all run into the forest to look for Mina and Madeline. The two rush back to the door and beg Daniel to open it. Mina then tries calming Daniel down by mentioning her sister Lucy and how she calls her because of their mother's death, which was Mina's fault, pleading that leading to someone's death will haunt you for life. Daniel lets them in. Having broken too many rules, Madeline orders them all in front of the mirror. Madeline then admits to not saying her whole truth. truth. Being a history teacher, she already knew what was in this forest. However, she greatly underestimated the danger of this place and has actually seen the Watcher's face before. When she was stuck alone in the forest, she had come across a Watcher, something that resembled her own face and body. Everything seemed off, however, and the Watchers are a very ancient species that watch the group every night to study them and eventually become them.
Nightmares. We all get them here.
What a show we have for you tonight!
They're going to get in.
Realizing the Watchers intend to break in, the group moves a table to the door. However, they notice a secret room below where the table was. Opening the hatch, Mina is the first one to go down, followed by the rest of the group. The glass shatters just as Madeline enters, and down below, it is a sight to behold. Seeing so much food, books, a bed, and even a computer, the team fire it up to get some answers. Opening a few videos, they are amazed to see Professor Kilmartin. Being there from 2009, he explains he has built an impenetrable fortress in the Watcher's natural habitat, saying the creatures are fascinated with himself and just stare at him all night long. The video ends. In the next video, he explains the Watchers are mastering him. At first, they made quite a few mistakes in trying to copy his look, but they have almost perfected it. The professor then explains how he built the bunker. He would grab 13 men from neighboring villages and use their manual labor till night, where he would urge them to eat their supper outside as he quickly snuck into the bunker. Each night, 13 men would die, and the coop is built off the blood of hundreds of men. Another video mentions how one of the creatures appeared as a child, but seemed different from the others. It was traveling on its own and seemed curious. He believes with access to that power, one could even cheat death. Eventually, the professor locked up one of the Watchers and promised he would not hurt it. The demon stood up and the professor wanted them to become friends. The professor mentions how his time has ended and that he left a boat at 134 where the birds leave the woods, and anyone watching this message should flee and head to his office at the university to destroy his work as his life is over. Hearing 2 gunshots from the video, they finally have an escape plan. The next day, the group begins their plan. They must not get distracted, nor can they afford to lose time. Following their markings, they rush through kilometer at a time, and yes, I think the mile system is stupid. Moving on, we eventually arrive at the point of no return number 134. Releasing their bird to find the exact route to leave, they follow it until they discover a massive tomb. Madeline believes this is where the fairies were imprisoned, a bridge between nature and man. But with the power of the changelings rising, the fairies were banished in a tomb where they could never escape from. Wasting enough time, the team continues through the forest and ignore the distractions. With the sun setting and the rain pouring, the birds flee the forest and the Watchers have awoken from their slumber. Running towards the edge of the forest, night has enveloped the land and the team finally make it. Spotting the boat and running to it, Daniel the Moron hears John calling for help. With the others preparing the boat for departure, they see Daniel carrying John. Saying it is not really him, the Watcher cuts Daniel and speaks in tongue as the other 3 watch their friend get slaughtered. Paddling away, all the Watchers come out of hiding in a fake form, and it seems they cannot leave the forest. After a couple hours and a nice well-deserved nap on the boat, we finally get to see a bus. I mean, thank God. Any other people at this point is just so relaxing. With the 3 stooges getting onto the bus and sitting at the back, Mina promises the others that she'll go to the university to destroy the professor's work tomorrow. With Mina arriving at her home and heading straight to the shower, she begins to get a flashback of the accident. Remembering her sister sitting atop her deceased mother, the scene cuts to the next day where Mina lies and makes her way into her supposed uncle's office. It is here that she learns the shocking truth. After going over the standard stuff, she hears a voice recording of the professor explain everything. That before the fairies were feral wingless beasts, life with the fairies was a golden era. Some even mated with the fairies and became known as halflings as they were magnificent at transformations. But when the humans cursed and banished the fairies, no one knew what became of the halflings. As Mina goes to leave, she discovers a magnificent painting of both fairies and humans. Seeing what has become of the banished fairies, Mina goes to pick up some photos nearby and gets the shock of a lifetime. Immediately taking a cab to Kiara's house, Kiara welcomes her in. Getting right to the point and explaining the gist of the matter, she hands over photos only for us to see that Madeline was the professor's wife. What's even worse is the fact that she died many years ago from lung cancer. It seems the professor's whole mission for going to the forest was so that he could cheat death and get his wife back. Using one of the Watchers as Madeline, it could walk in the sunlight and must be different from the rest of them. With Madeline planning the whole thing and wanting to escape the forest, Mina Mina wants to send her back. When a set of headlights approach, Mina is shocked at who it could be. When she takes a look, she discovers it is Kiara. The one inside is Madeline, or the Daylight Walker if you would. Attacking the actual Kiara, it chases after Mina and says it was under dirt for centuries thanks to humans. Clawing its way out of the hole, Mina and humans cannot be trusted with her secret and must be killed. Being grateful to Mina for rescuing her from the forest, she says that she is known as the Strange One or the Daywalker. When the professor came to the forest, he betrayed her and she killed him. Not allowing herself to get betrayed again, she changes into Mina and says there shall be no more running. Picking up the real Mina by the throat and planning to walk amongst humans in her body, Mina begs for mercy and is only saved when she mentions why only she can walk in the daylight. She is told that she is a halfling and one of her parents had to be a human. This revelation hits her to the core and causes a full transformation between everyone she has transformed into. Eventually, the Daywalker's full identity is revealed and she takes off with her wings. Trusting Mina for the time being, she flies away, promising to keep watch. Once inside, Kiara is all well, and the scene skips to Mina finally talking to her sister and mentioning the whole ordeal. Her sister Lucy tells her that this ordeal will only make her stronger. The movie comes to an end with the Daywalker transforming into a little girl and keeping an eye on Mina. Thanks for sticking by until the end. I'd love for some movie recommendations which you can chuck in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.